This panel is being hosted by Aggies Helping Aggies, which is a UC Davis student philanthropy organization on campus. Our mission is to help build a culture of giving on campus by educating students about the role of philanthropy on campus, awarding grants for financial emergencies, and spreading awareness about other available resources. We will begin shortly, but let me start off with some introductions for my teammates and I. My name is Nakhla. I'm a second-year sociology and psychology major and a trustee on the development committee.
Hi, I'm Sudiksha, and I'm a third-year cognitive science major, and I'm also a trustee on the development committee here at Aggies Helping Aggies.
Hi, y'all. I'm Christine. I'm a second-year biochem major.
Now we will move on to the panelists. Sam, if you would start us off with introductions, please.
My name is Sam Alavi. My pronouns are she and her. I serve as the Director of Strategic Programs and Initiatives for University Development in DVAR at UC Davis, which is a very long title, but I support multiple programs within DVAR. I help run our student internship program. I help lead our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. I work on a number of other things as well. I've been in this role for a little over 3 years now.
And my name is Jaime Dixon, and I'm the Associate Director of Donor Relations and Special Projects for the health system. I have been in my role for about 2 years, and I work with all of our units on the health system campus, from our cancer team to our School of Medicine to the Med Center. Before that, I was with the Cal Aggie Alumni Association.
My name is Jessie De La Trinidad, and I am alumni of class of 2019. I'm currently the Outreach and Engagement Coordinator for Donor Relations for Development, and I started here as an intern under Sam, so I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Lindsey Webster. I'm a senior prospect researcher for the Prospect Management and Research Department at UC Davis. We help find donors for the university. I've been here for 4 years, and before this, I was with the Oklahoma State University Foundation for 5, working in donor relations.
Hi, everyone. Jaime Allen, she, her pronouns. I'm currently the Assistant Director for Out-of-State and International Alumni Engagement at the Cal Aggie Alumni Association. I've been in this role for a little more than 1.5 years, but I've been at UC Davis for 6 years, previously working in student affairs.
My professional experience actually began in the nonprofit field. I spent 7 years working for a racial and gender justice nonprofit based out of Oakland, working first as a trainer and running their programs, but then later I joined their board of directors. And for those of you who know anyone on a board of directors or have sat on a board of directors, you know that a huge component of that is fundraising. It was the first opportunity I had to work with donors, to write articles and op-eds on the work we were doing, to run fundraising events, things like that. But what I didn't quite expect was I fell in love with higher education. And I became obsessed with this concept of the power of higher education and the opportunity that higher education has to engage students, whether they're here for 1 year or 2 years or 4 years, about concepts that go beyond just getting a degree or learning math and science and reading, but the opportunity to engage students around power and privilege and oppression, the opportunity to engage students about civic engagement, the opportunity to put students on a campus and allow them to unlearn and rethink some of the things they learned in their first 18 plus years of life. And that was kind of the moment I knew that the nonprofit sector is great, but I want to be in higher education forever. And I spent some time, like some of the folks in this Zoom room, in student affairs, loved it, and then went to grad school and got a degree in higher education leadership. And while I was there thinking about what I wanted to do next, I thought about, just by nature of existing in a university beforehand, that I actually knew a lot more about development and philanthropy than I thought I did. Because in every place that I worked at UC Davis beforehand, those were funded by philanthropy. All of the hours and nights and days I spent at the Cross Cultural Center and in ASUCD as a student, those were all funded by philanthropy. So I actually think that it wasn't nearly as scary as I thought it would be. And it has been an immense privilege these last few years, really learning the ins and outs about UC Davis fundraising, because UC Davis is a school that at the end of the day, both as an employee and an alumna, I'm so proud of everything we do.
So I am also an alumna of UC Davis. And I'm, as Sam said, I am so proud of this university. My start actually started when I was really young in fundraising and in philanthropy. I didn't quite know what it was when I was little at church giving money, or whether it was fundraising for UNICEF in high school. So it just was an automatic. My family, my parents, my sisters, we always were told, like, you help the person next to you. So for me, my background, as I mentioned, I'm a grad of UC Davis. I ended up going back east and working in Boston for a number of years, working with a nonprofit, bringing exchange students to the US. And working with host families and working on that side of things. But while I was out there, UC Davis, there are over 1,000 alumni, in case you're wondering, in the Boston area. And while I was out there, I started volunteering for UC Davis with the Aggie Alumni Association. And as an alum, we were putting on different events, from happy hours to going to Red Sox games to professional development opportunities. And for us, that was kind of how I got brought back into the fold of UC Davis.
Well, like Jaime, I also got a very early start, mainly in volunteering and participating at school. Granted, it was definitely different from the type of philanthropy and advancement work that we do here, but just being part of something and being involved and helping others was the big part of it, and what drove me to pursue it as a career. But more formally, it wasn't until I was a third year at UC Davis and I was working for the Alumni Center here on campus that I really started to learn more about the Alumni Association, development, fundraising, and just the impact of fundraising. And then I had the opportunity to apply for the internship program that Sam Alavi manages, and thankfully I made it. So I had a great year of shadowing and learning from all the units that fundraise or do engagement work with our constituents. And eventually I was able to apply for a career position. And, because of everybody's support and just the community and how great it is, I was able to find, a spot in it. So it's kind of been a short road for me. I don't have too much experience like some of my other colleagues, but it's been amazing either way. And that's how I got into it.
The summer after my freshman year of college, I had an internship with the Oklahoma Dental Foundation. I'm from Oklahoma. I got to work really closely with the executive director there, and one of our big objectives was to raise money for a community-wide free dental clinic. So I started the summer cold calling local businesses, asking for money, which was admittedly terrifying, and then ended the summer witnessing this just amazing event where people were getting dental work they really needed but couldn't normally afford. So that was a really rewarding experience for me. I knew I wanted to stay in philanthropy. So then junior year of college, I got a part-time job as a student worker in the donor relations department of my school's foundation. And I was very fortunate that turned into a full-time position after I graduated, and I've been in higher ed fundraising ever since.
Similar to Sam, I made my way to the development and philanthropy world through student affairs. Previously, I was advising student organizations, helping those student org leaders grow as leaders, develop professionally, and it was just really rewarding seeing everything that UC Davis students are able to accomplish and the positive change they're able to have on positive impact they're able to have on their communities. Then this opportunity came up to move to the Aggie Alumni Association. And it's a really great chance to help our Aggies once they graduate to continue to grow, continue to feel like they're part of this larger UC Davis community. And it's not just the philanthropic side of fundraising, it's also just that building community, helping people stay connected and engaged with all the great things UC Davis is doing.
A few things came to mind, the first being the flexibility that I was afforded as a student. And, that's always had a time limit, but I think that was definitely a difficult part of transitioning over, was just learning how to work within a business acumen and a different time frame, to work in teams. But it was something that I just hadn't experienced as formally as when I jumped into this position.
For me, it was learning how complex the financial needs of an institution are. As a student, especially as a new graduate, you have these student callers asking you for money and you're like, come on, I just paid you so much in tuition. So working in philanthropy, especially in higher education, you gain a much better understanding and appreciation for the student callers. And then you feel the need to share that with everyone who complains about the phone calls.
Going from a student to a working professional, you're really busy as a student between classes and clubs and internships and family and personal life, but it's a different type of busy once you're out of school and working full time.
I think the biggest thing for me was really shifting my understanding of UC Davis, both as a student and in student affairs. I viewed UC Davis as a place that students came and they learned and they got degrees and they graduated. But by working in philanthropy and by working in DVAR, I had the opportunity to transition my thinking into understanding UC Davis in its whole. Understanding that UC Davis, there are people who give to UC Davis who could not care less about our academic programs. They give to UC Davis because it saved the life of their pet or their parent, or they like to drink wine. There are all sorts of reasons why people give to UC Davis, and actually some of our biggest donors are not alumni. And really understanding that UC Davis to the rest of the world is this incredible machine that does so many things, from the academics to our health system, to our vet center, to things like that. And really understanding that UC Davis is so much bigger than I originally thought it was.
For over a decade, I worked outside of philanthropy. So I didn't go right into it, but I think the biggest thing is since I started out as a volunteer, coming back into the fold of development and alumni relations, really realizing, as Sam, as Jamie, as Jessie and Lindsay have said, it is a bigger picture.
For me, finding ways to contribute to UC Davis's goals and missions, and really that greater good that UC Davis is able to give back to the community, whether it's philanthropically supporting the great research that's being done, or student success programs and scholarships, or whether it's just building and making connections between different Aggies around the world. That's what really keeps me excited to come back.
Definitely, and I will second what Jamie said. I think the best part of working in philanthropy, especially here at UC Davis, is getting to see firsthand what we do. For me, I love to hear the stories of why someone gives. This past year, we had a 7-year-old, for her birthday, she raised funds for our children's hospital, or it's hearing a former scholarship recipient telling us about now they're in a place that they can give back. And so now they are starting an endowment for a student scholarship. This is why we're here.
I'll second what both the Jamies said, because that was really great. And a lot of what I've been thinking about in terms of working in philanthropy and working in this field means that you are a part of something bigger than yourself every single day. Your job is different every day. You get to hear all sorts of stories. You get to be connected with every part of campus.
I'm really motivated by the impact that I see. Every day I'm learning something new that is happening on campus, on both campuses. And it's just so inspirational to know that there's people out there who really care. I've been in Davis for a few years as a student, and now I'm here working. And I have to say, I just love the community, being a part of it, living here and working here, because I know that, at the end of the day, the work it's benefiting somebody, it's going back to the community. And that's what I've always wanted in life. I just didn't realize it. I could have it while being at the university.
I was going to say, it's just so nice knowing you're helping others. You're working with like-minded individuals. It's really it's more than a job. It's just fun. Every day is kind of fun because you're helping somebody out.
The catalyst was, like I mentioned, finding a new way to help our Aggie community members grow and thrive. So transitioning everything I learned in student affairs and applying it to alumni. And those transferable skills are really big. No matter what industry you end up going with, you're gaining a lot of great experience as students. And so having that ability to capture it and package it in a new way for whatever your goals are going to be. And then some of the skills that were really helpful for me to make that transition were event planning and kind of project management. Those for me were what I brought over to this field.
What allows me to do the breadth of the work in DVAR while having a student-centered and student-first and equity-first lens is because of my experiences at UC Davis. It is my passion of UC Davis that sparked my general passion for higher education. And I know that, even if I don't end up at UC Davis, even if I'm not here forever, I will take my love of UC Davis first and let that bleed everywhere else that I go.
I agree with Jamie and Sam before me. I think for me, the catalyst was volunteering for UC Davis. So I had been gone from UC Davis for a number of years. I loved UC Davis as a student. I never really even thought of development, fundraising, philanthropy as a student, as a professional career option when I was a student, and volunteering brought me back into that fold of realizing you can. So even as a student, there are lots of opportunities for you to connect with staff members, to connect with alumni. One thing, do it when you have the opportunity, do it when you have the time. It does become more challenging when you are in the professional world.
Yeah, networking is definitely where it's at. So I started in donor relations, but getting to know my colleagues outside of my department and learning more about what they do, that's really what set me on my career path and got me into this job I'm in now that I absolutely love. So again, we want to see you succeed. If anyone, it makes my day when someone's like, I want to hear more about what you do. I'm kind of interested in it. So it's kind of scary to put yourself out there, but do it. You get the best experience that way.
Really just coming to school and being a student here as a first generation college student and graduate, and knowing that my experience was possible because of a scholarship I received, it really cemented my passion to work and give back and help make those connections in the future, especially as I started learning more about, the Alumni Association and development and fundraising, and realizing that there's this entire department of people dedicated towards making those things happen.
I say apply for jobs. Our department, Prospect Management and Research, actually has a student worker position coming open in the fall. So keep your eye out on the Handshake website if you're interested in that. That's how I got my start. You just kind of got to jump in, see if you like it.
I think there's a few practical ways a student can become involved. First and foremost, being part of the club and fundraising with the club and learning to work with others, but also keeping an eye out for the internship program application, checking out Aggies Helping Aggies and their page to see if you'd be interested in being a part of that. Or also checking out any positions at the Alumni Center for the Cal Aggie Alumni Association, and just trying to maybe do some charity or volunteer projects to network with others.
If you're interested in learning more about it, you just need to get out there and practice and build your network, either by getting a job, an internship, or also just doing informational interviews to see if it really is going to be the right fit, the best place for you to use your skills and talents.
Also connect with us on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, create one. We may not have the answers, but in our networks, we do, with our colleagues, with past colleagues, with fellow grads, or whoever it is, but connect with us. Just know that we've all been there, and it may seem tough, but you're going to be successful. You're an Aggie.
I told Jesse this when he first applied to the internship, but my advice to all of you is if you aren't sure what you want to do with your career, and even if you're not sure you want to go into philanthropy, try it out. Whether it is a student position, whether you apply once you graduate, whether it's at UC Davis or at a nonprofit or another institution, fundraising skills are really great. And any job you apply in the future to in any field, it gives you a boost up, even if it's not something they're looking for, saying that you have it. Try it out. If you hate it, life is long. You'll have the opportunity to try other things, but there's definitely no harm in trying out this field.